Hey everyone, Shebim here and welcome back to another video of our Newcastle United career mode here on Football Manager 2019. It's also the first video of season number 3. So in this video we are going to go through our squad for the upcoming season. We will do the Champions League group stage draw and we will do a match. Just one match, I think it's Blackburn at home tomorrow. So first of all, let's have a look at what I've already done. As you can see, we had some friendlies and that sort of stuff. We then lost our opening game of the season 3-0 to Liverpool, to Arsenal, who has Josh Cleverley, who we sold to him, which is annoying. Then we got Asante Kotoko, a Ghanaian team in the World Champions League. We beat them 7-0 on aggregate to get our way into the group stages. In the first leg, we had goals from Mauricio Roberto and Ethami Garrido. Then we played QPR and we beat them 4-0 with goals from Lazzarini, Roberto, Coelho and Finer. We then had the second leg of the Champions League 5-0, goals from Danny Taylor, Rolf Boys, Holger Finer, Garrido and Fabian Grana. We will go through these players at the end of the video, I promise. And then we drew 2-2 with Chelsea with 2 goals from Nuno Coelho before beating Watford 5-1, goals from Ribeiro, 2 from Brian Santana, 1 from Furno and another one from Garrido as well. So that's what I've done so far. Let's do the Champions League draw first, because I think that's the most interesting thing. If you're not interested in the squad, we'll go through the players throughout the season anyway, so you can end the video after that. But here we go. Right. We are in Pool 2, so I'll tell you what we can do. We can draw... Let's draw the first lot of teams quickly. There we go. And then we can now do automatic draw. Right. So, Brazilian joined by Ukrainian. Atlanta United get a Mexican team. That's pretty good for them. Bournemouth get Real Madrid. Wow. That's a big match for Bournemouth. Argentina, Croatia, Fenerbahce go into that one. Olympia, so Paraguay and Sweden. Another Ukrainian team getting Independiente. Liverpool get a trip to Mexico. Sturm Graz, pretty close to them. Switzerland and France, pretty close. Well, Paraguay and Japan, not close at all. Hertha Berlin. Inter Milan join Galatasaray. Real Sociedad with LA Galaxy. Leverkusen get a Greek team. Krasnodar gets Celtic. There's a Swedish team going there. Aberdeen are in the Champions League group stage once again. They've got Shakhtar Donetsk. Feyenoord and Roma. Porto get Maccabi Tel Aviv. We don't want PSG. Nope, ain't got them. We don't want Man United either. Real Betis. We want to try and get a nice easy group once again, although it looks like there's some pretty good teams in this at the moment. All the groups have got at least one pretty strong team in. Because we didn't win the league, obviously we're not seeded. I'd like this group. Oh, we've got this group. We've got Pi. Okay, we've got Olympiacos as our number 1 seed in the group. That's not bad at all. I'll take that. Bursaspor joining that one. Bratislava getting trips to USA and Mexico. Bournemouth are now going to have to travel over to Japan as well. Group E is looking pretty interesting. Egyptian team in there as well. Group H, Standard Liège. RB Leipzig get into Group I, Racing Club. Look at this, we've got an Asian, a South American and an African in this group now. Spartak Moscow in this group, that's pretty interesting as well. Wolves. Wolves qualified, did they? How did Wolves qualify? I'm not sure. LA Galaxy and Real Sociedad for those. Like Poznan. Aberdeen are doing okay with their group. Maribor joining Roma and Feyenoord. Juventus get Porto and Maccabi Tel Aviv. Lazio joining PSG and Genk. Napoli get AZ Alkmaar. Schalke going against PSV. Chelsea getting Bruges and Monaco. That's a tricky group. And Dortmund's out the way as well. We get Grasshopper Zurich. Nice. Good draw for us, that is. I mean, there's some big teams left and we managed to avoid them. Right, so Venlo, Sofia, Konyaspor, Lyon, Valencia, Pumas. I want to see this group get a European team just to spread it. Oh, Liverpool got Barcelona just when they thought they'd avoided the big ones. Barcelona sneaking. Give me European. Ah, Kilmarnock. There we go. So we've got Asia, South America, Africa, and Europe. Man City get Inter Milan, Spartak Moscow. There's some difficult groups this year. Some really difficult groups. Red Bull Salzburg. Aberdeen get a nice group as well. Rangers get into this group, which is not too bad for them. So 3 Scottish teams. West Ham. West Ham are in the... I'm confused here. There's a lot of English teams in this, isn't there? How many English teams qualified? Newcastle, West Ham, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. That's like 7 teams. Who are we going to get? Who are we going to get? Who are we going to get? Bahia. We're going to Brazil then. We've got a nice group. Very, very nice group. I'm really happy with that. So, we won't go through the groups. I'll slowly scan through the groups. If you're interested, you can have a look and see what's going on. We'll stop at the interesting ones like Real Madrid and Bournemouth. Pretty interesting. Liverpool getting Barcelona, Standard Liège and Club America. That's going to be a tricky one for them. They should still qualify pretty easily. Man City getting Inter, Galatasaray and Spartak Moscow as well. It's not going to be easy for them. Kazakhstan team getting Wolves. Celtic's group's not bad at all. Aberdeen's got a pretty good group. Rangers have got a decent group. It's not as easy as the other two, but Group T's interesting as well. Group U, Juventus, Porto. Benfica, Atletico Nacional. So West Ham should do okay in that one. PSG, Genk, Lazio. Hearts might struggle. That's 4 Scottish teams in there as well. Man United, Betis, Rosenborg and Gongshu Evergrande. But of course we are in Group Pi. There we go. Olympiacos, Grasshopper, Zurich, Bahia. Not bad at all. I'm pretty happy with that. That's going to really mess our schedule up now though, isn't it? Let's skip forward a day and see what that does to our schedule. And then we will have a look at the squad that I've got lined up for this season. I have loaned a few players out that I said I wasn't going to, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's look at the schedule now, then. Yeah, that's changed things up completely, that has. Okay, that's not too bad. I can see some episodes. I think that's an episode there. Probably this will be an episode here as well. So I can see some good stuff that we can do. Right, let's have a look at our squad, then. We're just going to go through who I've put in the first team squads. It's just these players here. I don't think there's anyone else. Well, there are a few that are injured as well. Okay. So, I put a few players in the first team squad that I basically put the highest ones that I think have got the best potential. That's what I've sort of done. So, our goalkeepers this season are going to be, of course, Eric Stindl, the young German. We played quite a few games with him last season. And backing him up is going to be Max Miller, who apparently is going to have a great potential. And he's not too bad now. Plus, he has English nationality, so he can play as part of the All-English Cup. Then, right backs, of course, we have got Tom Coates. He's going to be our main right back this season. We did have this guy as our backup right back, but we're not going to be able to use him now because I sent him away on loan because Shrewsbury decided they want him for the season. And to be honest, the coaches said he was pretty good and could play, but I weren't too sure because his stats weren't great. And when I got offered a chance for him to play a full season elsewhere, I thought that's probably worth doing. Defensive-wise, we bring Rolf Boys back. Of course, he's the one who's been out on loan for a couple of seasons. He had a season away at Wimbledon, and he had a full season in the Premiership last year away at Preston, played 34 games. And obviously, he's come back looking a pretty damn good player for us now, so he's going to get quite a few games this season. Also, we got, of course, Arhan Versteeg, our main centre-back from, well, one of our 2 main centre-backs from last season. Young Dutchman. Alongside Marco Costa, of course, the other main centre-back we had. We also brought up this guy, Mateusz Adamczewski. Again, they reckon he's going to have a star potential in the future, so I thought we'd give him a bit of first-team football this season. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring them up to the main squad, play them as much as I can, and then I will, when they do become a lack of match fitness, I'll put them into the under-18s for a couple of games. Playing left-backs, then we've got Gary Clayton, the 22-year-old English left-back we got from Leicester. And he's playing as well as Antonio Luis, who didn't get any offer. I always thought we were going to get some big offers in the summer, but we didn't get any. We got a few, actually, a few interesting ones. I'll show you who we sold as well. We've got one of our new signings, Richard Opoku, a Ghanaian centre midfielder who could also play right mid as well. He looks really good. I mean, his stats are fantastic now. He's got really good techno. His mental needs a bit of work. But again, the coaches reckon he had a fantastic potential, so I thought we'd give him some first-team football this year. Next up then, of course, we've got Patrick van der Ven. I think probably our best player in the squad, according to the coaches. Can't moan about that, can we? He's been fantastic for us. Also, Antonio Lazzarini, the young Italian, who's not as good as I thought he was, to be honest, but maybe someone who we might sell on once we've got a better player in that position. João Ribeiro as well. Again, not quite as good as I thought it was going to be. Again, if we get a big offer coming for him, I think I will let him go and we can use one of the other younger players to replace him. Johan Versteeg, the 17-year-old Dutch midfielder. I mean, the coaches don't rate him that highly, but I think his stats are fantastic. So I've decided I want to give him a bit of first-team football this season if I can. I've also got this guy. He's not that great, to be honest. I brought him up just because he was from Lebanon. And it was just a bit of a weird nation. We don't really have that many weird nations yet, so I thought we'd give him a bit of an opportunity. He did come on in both the World Cup qualification games, but they were pretty easy, weren't they? Lewis Odor, Australian centre mid as well. Apparently he's got fantastic potential according to the coaches as well, so I thought I'd give him a bit of first-team football. Karl-Heinz Michael, of course, we know about him. He'll play more this season, I think, but he's away with an injury at the moment for a few weeks. John Darch. Got quite a bit of football last season, actually, and is impressed so far this season, so hopefully we'll get some more out of him. He's got a great potential, but he's not really done too much as of yet for us. Andrea Furno, of course, our big summer signing from last year. Had a pretty decent first season, but I'm hoping this is going to be his year to shine. Athami Garrido spent the season away on loan last year at Blackburn. 22 games, 2 goals, and had a fantastic start to the season so far with 3 goals in 2 games. So I'm expecting some good things from Garrido as well. Gabriel Nieto. I really think he's really good, but he's getting older now and he's just not progressing as quickly as I hoped he would do. He had a season away last year at Gladbach, 28 games, 6 goals. I just want to see more from him, and I just don't think he's going to progress quick enough. He just seems to just not be getting there. Someone who is getting there. I mean, look at these freaking stats. Fabian Grana, he looks stunning, doesn't he? He really does. He spent last season away at Maccabi Tel Aviv, 15 goals in 34 games, and he's going to get a lot of football for us this year, I think. He looks fantastic. He is wanted. Who's he wanted by? Dortmund on loan. They did make an offer, actually, and make him a first-team player, but decided I wanted to use him this season. Shane Cronin, 17-year-old Irish cam and striker. We brought him in. He's fresh into our club this year. Looks like a pretty decent player. Scored 13 goals last year for Cliftonville. They have requested to loan him again this season, but I said no. Danny Taylor, English left mid. He's been on loan for a couple of seasons now. We brought him in the first season from Norwich. We loaned him out to Stoke for a season and to Leeds for a season. And he's had a lot of football in those 2 years. I just don't know whether he's ready yet or not. Nuno Coelho, of course, we know about him. He is getting better. You're seeing his stats are getting higher and higher. I feel like he is going to be an absolute superstar. And he is getting there, actually. His current ability is quite high now as well. And he's only 21. We've got John Adihiambo, a Kenyan striker. Again, they reckon he's got fantastic potential, so I thought I'd bring him in and give him an opportunity. To be honest, I don't think he's going to get a lot of football because we've got quite a lot of strikers in our squad this year. Marcia Roberto, right. This is the guy who scored quite a few goals so far this season. He looks fantastic. We brought him a couple of years ago, actually. We brought him, I think he came in January. We loaned him out in January to Zurich, where he scored 3 goals in 13 games. Wasn't quite great. And then last year, he spent a year in the Premiership playing for Birmingham, where he got 9 goals, 5 assists, 2 player of the matches in 36 games. So there's still a lot for him to progress in, but he's still quite young. Of course, we've got Brian Santana. Man City came in with some mega offers for this guy in the summer, including one offer that was that worked out 107 million, which I rejected. But I feel like next season I might accept because I think some of the other players might be good enough to replace him. Holger Feiner could be one of those players. Again, fantastic German. He was away at Wimbledon last year, scored 13 goals in 26 games. Yuta Kobayashi, someone we've had for a few seasons now as well. Young Japanese striker. Apparently he's got good potential according to the coaches. His stats still not great, but I've tried to give him a bit of football where I can. Another one of our new signings, Furkan Tepela, Turkish striker. He's got 2 caps for the Turkish national side at the age of 18 already. But those stats just stunned me how good he actually was, so I brought him straight in to give him a bit of an opportunity. Rio Setiawan. Again, I brought him up because he's Indonesian, to be honest with you, but his stats actually look pretty impressive as well, so I think he'll get some first-team football. I think he can play out on the left as well and through the centre. And then finally, Enzo Ortiz, a Chilean striker, also can play right midfield as well. He was another new player that came in the summer. So these are the sort of players you should be seeing. There might be one or two others from the academy, but I think these are the ones you should be seeing. I'm going to do one other thing while I'm here. I'm just going to bring up Sergei Gusev to the main squad as well. Of course, he got quite a few games last season, but I think with the other guy being loaned out, I think we are going to need a second right back. And of course, you've seen how good Gusev is already from last season. Got 15 games under his belt already last season, so I think he'll do pretty well as well. Right, so that is that. We can now push forward and let's have this home game against Blackburn. And here we go, and this is the team we're going to play with for this match against Blackburn. Now, you will notice I've changed the formation slightly. I've got a bit more of an attacking formation. This is not our standard one. Our standard one's still going to be the 4-2-3-1, but in games where we're very likely to win the game and want to be a bit more aggressive, we're going to go with this one, just so there's not too much pressure on Santana to score. Right, so in goal, we're going to go, of course, with Eric Stindl. We need him to progress as quickly as possible, so obviously playing him as much as possible is going to be the best possible thing to do. At left back, we bring in Gary Clayton for his second Premiership game of the season. The two centre-backs then are going to be Marco Costa, and he is going to be playing alongside Rolf Boys, because Versteeg is not 100%. He needed to rest in this game, so he did that. Right back then is Tom Coates, who again, I keep saying it every video, his stats just don't seem to be going upwards, but he always seems to play well. Our two midfielders then are going to be Nuno Coelho, who I've just rejected a £48 million bid from Real Madrid for. I mean, I'm happy to sell players, but because we're going to have some new great players coming through, but they've got to give me a decent amount of money for them. Antonio Lazzarini as well in centre midfield. Then the two attacking midfielders are going to be John Darch up the left, who I think is going to get a lot more football this season. We have got Andrea Ferno up the right. And then because it's a little bit of an easier game, I've gone with our two younger strikers in Marcio Roberto. And, of course, alongside him, Holger Feiner. Holger Feiner! And hopefully this should be another nice, easy game. Of course, he won the last game 5-1 off camera, so hopefully another strong win here will be fantastic. And we can continue to look good, because we are, I think, second in the table at this point in time. Looking pretty nice. So it'd be nice to try and fight for the league again this year. That's why I've gone for a bit of a bigger squad this year. Just to try and make sure that we do have enough in the tank to fight on all stages. Especially towards the end of the season where it gets a bit congested. Because that's when we started to struggle, wasn't it? And I feel like if we've got fresh players that are talented, we could do pretty well. Got a few interesting players on the bench. Then I've got Johan Versteeg, who's the centre mid and right attacking mid, the 17-year-old Dutchman. And I've also got that Lebanese midfielder on the bench as well. Feiner far post. Holger Feiner with a goal to make it 1-0 after 11.5 minutes here. Bang! That's exactly what I wanted to see. Lazzarini's corner was great. Ferno got the ball, played it to Darch. It came back to Lazzarini. Great ball to the far post, and Feiner was there to volley it home. Epic. Right. I'd like to get a second as soon as possible, just to give us a bit of control, but then looking at the actual match stats, we're very much in control already. 8 shots, 5 on target. A large portion of the possession as well as Costa here. Because I'd like to get to a point where I can bring on the two youngsters and just sort of give them as much first-team experience as possible to try and get them to progress quicker. Here's Darch. Running straight through, and John Darch slams it into the back of the net. Nice one. Out of nowhere, John Darch with the goal. Good lad. Good lad. John Darch looking good. There's Lazzarini. And then Darch just ran it the whole way himself. Great goal from him, actually. Because he's one of the players that I'm not... I don't know. I feel like I'm being harsh on the English players. Because I have let a lot of the English players sort of disappear. But I'm playing players that are of different nation that I feel... I don't know. I'm probably just being a bit harsh on the English players, to be honest with you. There's the goal kick by Villar. It looks like it's going to come straight to Clayton. Here's Darch again. Lazzarini. I should be pushing the English players a bit more, shouldn't I? Oh, Lee Thomas left as well. That was a big sign, a big summer. He went to Manchester United. Both Man United and Man City both offered 60 million for him, and I was like, well, I can't really say no to that, to be honest. So he left, cleverly left. That's a penalty. That's a penalty. We could go 3-0 here at half-time. Although Holger Feiner did miss a penalty in the Champions League. Of course, he won the game 5-0 anyway. It doesn't really matter too much, to be honest. But there we go. He does slam it into the back of the net. Excellent. Right. Feiner, nice one. Right in the bottom corner. Right, so 3-0 up before half-time. Maybe 4-0 up before half-time at this rate. And then if we are, I might even take a couple of players off at half-time just to protect them, you know. Coelho, Lazzarini, Furno, Darch again, Feiner, Roberto. Oh, it's bounced around everywhere. Blackburn, of course, won the promoted teams this season. Maybe they've not advanced their squad as much as they needed to, really. Yeah, it's going to be half-time. I might actually make a couple of substitutions now, you know. Just to protect the more important players. You could do, you know. I think I might do that. So Man City are beating Chelsea 3-0 at half-time as well. Wow, okay. I'm going to switch. We're going to bring on Johan Versteeg, the young Dutchman, who is not great in that position, actually. Then we're also going to bring on the Lebanese midfielder as well, who's also not great in that position. I might have to go into the training and get them trained up in these positions, because that's going to be... Oh, no, you can play centre midfield, okay. It's just you are not ideal at that position, are you? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, we'll bring these two players on for the second half, give them a bit of experience, and hopefully that's going to help them sort of beef themselves up quicker. Because I feel like they've both got probably two of the better potentials we've got. I've got a ton of kids in the academy. I mean, we've got like 100 players out on loan again. I've really overpurchased, like something terrible I've overpurchased, I'll tell you. And I think I'm going to try and calm down as much as I can. I only like brought like 3 or 4 players this summer, but the problem is I had loads of players that I brought last summer that have just turned 18, so they only came through this year as well, so I had a bit of a hectic summer once again. I think we had like 45 players come in. It's stupid, it really is. So I'm going to have to start to clear out a little bit, I think, over the next year or so. Just a few of the players that have got to like the early 20s and are not really progressing very much. They'll all be sold on, and it's good because I've got quite a few players from weird nations that will move on to other places in the UK, hopefully, and then they'll continue to be able to improve their nation. Lazzarini finding Roberto off the post. Wow, it was offside though. Okay. It's a shame. That would have been a great goal. Really good goal. I was going to make a something. I can't be bothered now, to be honest. By the time I've clicked on it, it's going to be more or less finished the game anyway, isn't it? There we go. That's not bad then. I mean, it would have been nice to score again in the second half, don't get me wrong, but at least those two younger players have got an opportunity to show what they can do for 45 minutes. They didn't do much, to be honest, but they've got a bit of experience on the pitch. That's the main thing. Right, so 3-0 victory. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll tell them I'm happy with that. Continue to boost the morale as much as I possibly can. And there we freaking go. Boom. Victory. So, I am going to play a few games off camera, and then I think I pointed out where we're going to come back already, haven't I? With the 132 players in the international. We're going to struggle to put a squad together for that game, I think, aren't we? Yeah, I've showed you already. We're going to come back for the first 2 Champions League games. I think it was Leicester as well in the league, was it? Yeah, so I'll play these 3 games off camera, and we'll come back for Olympiacos. I know it's Man United in the league now. Oh, God. Okay, well, I'll play these 3 games off camera because we should win all those pretty easily. Then we'll come back for Olympiacos, we'll come back for Grasshopper Zurich, and we'll come back for Man United, and then we'll all be good. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit a like and, of course, subscribe if you want to see some more. I've been Shabba Gamer. Thank you much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.